Yeah, I think for us, it's about knowing that basketball is a game of runs. And they made their run in that third quarter. And honestly, just continue to stay composed and take it each possession at a time is something that we've been working on. And so for us, that was our focus, is get a stop, go down and score, get another stop, and we try to get a kill.
I mean, when you're playing against great players, you're not going to stop them, right? You just have to try to make life as difficult as possible and make them beat you with tough ones. It's try to make everything as difficult as possible. Let her see multiple bodies, different kinds of matchups. Just make her really work for everything that she's going to get.
There was no Caitlin Clark, no step-back threes, no crowd chants, no ESPN cameras glued to her every move. And with their biggest star in street clothes on the sideline, the Indiana Fever had a choice to make: fold under pressure or fight without the spotlight. They chose to fight, but barely.
Coach, last night you mentioned wanting to see more attention to detail. Do you feel like you saw more of that effort on display tonight?
I think we saw more of it at various points. We didn't see it for 40 minutes, but on the second half of a back-to-back, sometimes that's to be expected. And that's the growth of this team, is finding ways to self-correct in the game, finding ways to slow down and have a high attention to detail. We did that in the fourth quarter, and it allowed us to come away with the win. I think we did a great job of weathering the storm, and then in that fourth quarter, particularly in that moment when they went up one, that's when we saw it.
And Aliyah Boston? She wasn't celebrating the narrow win. She was furious. "We gotta stop depending on one person to define who we are," she said after the game, eyes locked on the reporters. "If we don't come together when she's not out there, what are we even building?" It wasn't shade, it was a warning. Because when Caitlin Clark sat out with a minor injury against the Dallas Wings, the Fever nearly unraveled. The ball movement stalled, the confidence dipped, and for the first 3 quarters, Indiana looked like a team searching for answers, until Aliyah Boston decided to be the answer.
For both Aliyah and Kelsey, having leads slip away has been a bit of a theme recently, just last night. What was different tonight, and did you kind of feel a sense of urgency there that the team responded to, I guess?
For us, it's about making sure that we turn that page, we get back the lead, we keep it, we get big defensive stops. And you understand, once again, it's a game of runs, and you just have to make sure that you have the best one at the end. Great use of the word urgency. That's honestly been the topic of conversation for us, is making sure that we have a sense of urgency on the offensive end, on the defensive end. And once again, leads did slip away in this game and last game.
And what followed was a statement, not just to the Wings, not just to the fans, but to her entire franchise. From the jump, it was clear this wouldn't be easy. The Wings came out swinging, pressuring the Fever guards and clogging the paint. Without Clark drawing defenders and spacing the floor, the offense looked clunky. Kelsey Mitchell was forced to create, but every possession felt forced. Meanwhile, Dallas found its rhythm early. Satu Sabali and Arike Ogunbowale attacked the rim relentlessly, and Tiara McCowan owned the glass. The Fever were down by 9 after the first quarter, and looked completely out of sync. Aliyah Boston kept grinding inside, but she was getting swallowed up in double teams. No spacing, no rhythm, no help. Then something changed. Late in the second quarter, after missing a point-blank layup and getting shoved under the rim, Boston let out a roar. She turned to the bench, pounded her chest, and barked, "Let's go, stop playing scared." That's when the temperature changed.
2-part question. First one's for Aliyah. Would it be safe to say that you found your groove because your face-off game's been on point? It seems like you've been more aggressive probably since like last 2 weeks. You shoot about 16, 17 attempts.
Require so much attention on pin downs, on screens, making sure that I'm available for them. And I think, once again, they do a great job of getting me the ball. And for me, it's about just taking every shot with confidence, because we've been working on it. Dang, you didn't see her before? Dang. But I mean, I think for me, it's just playing off of my teammates. When you have guards like we do that.
Boston started taking over. No more waiting for plays to develop. No more hesitating at the elbow. She began carving up the Wings defense with post moves that left defenders spinning. Up fake, drop step, and one. You could feel the shift. She dragged Indiana back into the game with raw intensity, diving for loose balls, directing the defense, and physically bullying Dallas in the paint. The Fever tied it up in the third. And it wasn't because of a shooting run, it was because of Boston's presence. You could see it in her eyes. She wasn't trying to be polite. She was done watching the team hesitate. Done being deferential. Done with the idea that Indiana was only dangerous with Caitlin Clark on the floor. "I know what I bring to this team," she said afterward, "and I'm not waiting for permission to lead."
This is a question for players and coach. There were a lot of Fever fans today at the game. What does it mean to you to just have their presence with you wherever you go?
And so I think that's the way you look at it, right? You've had this arena that's filled, and people are coming in, they're like, "Whoa, I like her, she's tough." And so I think it's just great for the game.
Likewise, I take pride in wanting to see people I've never seen before. So when you see different players that you admire.
Every game is a home game. I think you see that. People show up, they show out. I think it's great for this league, just people continuing to come to games and watch, because I think when people show up to watch a game, they might have came for one person, but they leave liking many more.
She finished with 21 points, 13 rebounds, and 4 assists. But the stat sheet didn't tell the whole story. Boston's energy was contagious. In the fourth quarter, with the game hanging in the balance, she made 2 consecutive stops on defense, one a block, one a forced travel, that sparked the Fever's final run. Then, with under a minute left, she hit a clutch mid-range jumper off the pick and pop to give Indiana the lead for good. The Fever won, 78-75, but it didn't feel like a win, not to Aliyah. "I shouldn't have to scream to wake us up," she said post-game. "That has to come from all of us, because next time, I might not be enough."
So for us, I mean, I feel like it's kind of similar in college and in the league. Like Paige is just playing great basketball and making sure that she sets up her teammates for the same. I think every time you play against Paige, Paige is just such a smart player. She reads defensive well. She knows how to pick you apart. And so when you play against her, you have to make sure that you're aware of where she is at all times. And also she does a great job of putting her teammates in great position.
That hit harder than any buzzer beater. For most of the season, Indiana has been a story about one player, one rookie, one phenomenon. And make no mistake, Caitlin Clark is a game changer. But that story has come at a cost. Aliyah Boston, the reigning Rookie of the Year, has too often been treated like a supporting character in her own franchise. Her double-doubles don't make headlines. Her defense doesn't trend on social media. And her leadership often gets overshadowed by a highlight pass from Clark. But when Clark wasn't there, it was Boston who kept the team afloat. She didn't just play harder, she demanded more. From herself, from her teammates, from the system. And it worked. After the game, head coach Christy Sides praised Boston's leadership. "Aliyah brought the fight tonight. We needed that spark, and she gave it to us." But Boston wasn't interested in praise. We shouldn't need a wake-up. There was no Caitlin Clark, no step back, no crowd chants, no ESPN cameras glued to her every move. And with their biggest star, the Indiana Fever had a choice: fold under pressure or fight. They chose to fight, but barely. And Aliyah Boston? She wasn't celebrating the narrow win. She was furious. "We gotta stop depending on one person to define who we are," she said after eyes locked on the reporters. "If we don't come together when she's there, what are we even building?" It wasn't shade, it was a because when Caitlin Clark sat injury against the Dallas Wings, the fleet unraveled. The ball movement stalled. The confidence dipped. Indiana looked like a team searching for answers. Until Aliyah Boston followed was a statement. To the Wings, not just to the fans, but to her entire franchise. From the jump, it was clear this wouldn't be easy. The Wings came out swinging the Fever guards and cleaned. Without clears and spacing the floor, Kelsey Mitchell was forced to create. Every possession felt forced. Meanwhile, Dallas found its and Arike Ogunb the rim relentlessly, and one owned the glass. The Fever were down by 9 after and looked completely out of sync. Aliyah Boston kept inside, being swallowed up in double teams. Facing. No rhythm. No help. Then something changed. Late in the second quarter, a point-blank layup and getting shoved under the rim, Boston let out to the bench, pounded her chest, and barked, "Let's go, scared." That's when Boston started